Welcome back to Entertainment Tonight's Hollywood Secrets Uncovered.
All right, that theme song has helped launch a CBS triple threat.
Now, who did pretty well with that, too?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. The original CSI stars made coroners and DBs, that's dead bodies, you and me,
Thanks for
Kevin,
holding me up.
sure, into ratings gold.
You know, William Peterson and Marg Helgenberger and the rest of the crew are huge stars now, but E.T. was with them back in the day when he was thinking of giving up acting and she was playing what?
A pregnant hooker.
We know who they are. They're television's most popular crime-solving crew. But before they ever knew what lacerations or contusions were, they were just a group of struggling actors trying to make it in Hollywood.
It's much harder. Much harder.
We were with a pregnant Marg on the set of China Beach. It was 1990, and the hit show was in its third season.
All working women are now, you know, going to work through their 8th month, and I think that television shouldn't be any different than what's happening in other workplaces.
Luckily, she didn't have to hide her pregnancy. Producers worked it into the show with a twisting plot line and flashback sequences.
Oh, I know how to breathe. I've been practicing all my life. It's cute. I mean, it's cute the amount of attention I get. And I think a lot of people were surprised, so I guess so they would say to me things like, well, I guess I don't need to ask you what you were doing over the summer and stuff like that. Hey, A.T., come down to the Keys with me and I'll take you for a ride.
In 1994, Marg got her first taste of crime solving as a forensic pathologist on a pilot called The Keys, and though she didn't know it, she was working with her future CSI co-star, Gary Dourdan.
Right over there, that's where Kick's home is, Kick played by Marg. And we're just cooling out here, a nice summer day.
The two hit it off, and apparently Marg wanted a keepsake of her dreadlock co-star, taking her own home movies on the set.
For me, you know, I don't like LA that much. I mean, I don't like living in that kind of a pace.
We met a youthful Peterson back in 1985 when the actor was still struggling with the demands of Hollywood.
And there's more publicity and stuff like that involved in filmmaking than there is in the theater, you know, and I haven't yet adjusted to doing that.
7 years later, he admitted to E.T. that he'd had second thoughts about his career.
I always wonder whether this is what I should be doing or whether I shouldn't have a more real job and whether I shouldn't be using my talents in a different way. And I think that that's a common dilemma.
George Eads got his big break in 1996 on the short-lived series Savannah.
For me, it's kind of coming back to the scene of the crime.
Rather prophetic words. More than 8 years before, he'd actually called the scene of a crime home. On the show, the actor got the chance to play two different characters and had his first taste of the phrase hunk.
I've had people think that I wasn't bad to look at, and I've had other people look at me and go, to be called a hunk, I've been called worse.
Georgia Fox spent 3 years on the highly acclaimed ER before hopping to the West Wing, where she spent one season. We spoke to her at a party before the presidential election in 2000.
I was lucky enough to go to D.C. for the first time at the show in May, and everyone was really kind and generous, and it was very exciting.
The show had just been nominated for an Emmy, but Georgia wasn't sure if she'd be able to attend.
You know, I don't know if I'll be there or not. I'm not sure. I've been lucky enough I'm working with another show at the same time, so I'll sort of see what's with the schedule. I mean, it's on a Sunday, so you never know, but they're traveling back and forth from Vegas.
Wonder what that could be.
It's a show for CBS, and it's called CSI, and it'll premiere in September, I guess, in the fall. So it's good, it's good. Sort of skipping back and forth.
But for Robert David Hall, the road to CSI was paved with a few more hurdles. In 1978, his legs were lost in a fiery accident when his car was struck head-on by an 18-wheeler.
I was trapped underneath it. Nobody knew I was under there, and they were afraid that the truck gas tank was going to explode. I thought I was dead. I was trapped under tons of metal. I was on fire.
By the time he was rescued by the local fire department, burns covered 65% of his body. But during his 18 months in the hospital, Hall decided it was time to follow his dream of acting.
I didn't survive the accident not to go for it.
Robert says all he ever wanted as an actor was a chance to play in the big leagues and feels blessed that CSI fulfilled his dream with a primetime hit.
It's so great to be on a successful show because they hired me as an actor. It had nothing to do with my disability. It had everything to do with hey, the guy looks like a corner, let's give him a shot. So I think that's a compliment.
The show has now been on the air for 5 seasons, has taken home 20 Emmy nominations, and has inspired 2 spin-offs. For the cast, it's a source of pride and a feeling of accomplishment at the end of a long journey.
I always had a good feeling about this show, but I didn't quite necessarily know it was going to do as well as it is, which is always a great surprise.
It's rewarding. It's also a little frightening, you know, because every time you go out, everybody's seen your show. You know, it's a little, oh, really?
It's a feeling of unimaginable luck, I think, is really what it is. It's dizzying for me. I'm on the tail of a comet and, you know, real happy. And I think these moments are very, you know, momentary. And sort of just try and enjoy it while we can. And God, just feel real lucky.